This recipe will show you how to make some delicious pizzas all from scratch, and it really isn't very difficult. Here are the ingredients for the pizza dough. 650 grams of Tipo 00 flour. This is authentic flour used to make proper Italian pizzas. You can find it in most large supermarkets, or you can use bread flour. 2 teaspoons of salt. This will add flavour and strengthen the gluten strands in the dough to help it rise. 2 teaspoons of sugar to feed the yeast. 1.5 tablespoons of oil. 1 sachet of instant yeast. And 400 ml of warm water, and this will speed up the rising process. Put the flour, sugar and salt in a bowl and give it a quick mix, then add the yeast. We mix in the salt first so that it doesn't directly touch the yeast, as this would kill the yeast and stop the dough from rising. Add the olive oil to the water and then add this to the dry ingredients. If your dough is still a little bit dry, add a little bit more water at a time until it forms a soft ball of dough. Knead the dough for 10 minutes. This develops the gluten strands in the dough, meaning it can catch more carbon dioxide produced by the yeast, and the texture will be soft and airy. Your dough is ready when it is soft and springy. If you poke it, the dough will bounce back. Roll this into a ball and pop it into a clean bowl, cover with cling film and leave it to rise in a warm place for 1 hour. So while our dough is rising, let's make the sauce. Here are the ingredients I used. 1 small onion, a nice fat garlic clove, 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, a teaspoon of dried oregano, a teaspoon of pesto and 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. Simply chop the onions and garlic into fine dice. Remember to use a bridging cloth to keep your fingers safe. Add little oil to a pan and on a medium heat add the onions and garlic and sweat them off until they have softened. This will take around 5 minutes. Add the tomato puree and cook that out for a minute or so. Cooking it out prevents the sauce from having a bitter taste. Add the tinned tomatoes, pesto and oregano and season to taste. I add a pinch of sugar to my sauce to bring out the sweetness of the tomatoes. Bring to the boil and then lower the heat to a simmer for around 10 minutes. back to our dough. It's had time to prove and it's doubled in size. Take the dough out of the bowl and onto a lightly floured work surface and give it a quick knead. This is called knocking back. Cut the dough into portions. It will make around 4 large deep dish pizzas or 8 large thin crusts. Roll the dough out into a large circle. Grease your tray with a little oil. I'm using a pizza pan here, or you can use a pizza stone or a baking tray, and then press out the dough slightly larger onto the tray. Now at this point you can add any toppings you like on your pizza. I have some fresh mozzarella, some mushrooms, onion and some sliced chorizo and a little bit of parmesan for the top. Add a little of the pizza sauce and spread it out. Don't add too much or your base will be soggy. Now preheat your oven as hot as it will go. I set mine to 275 degrees Celsius and my pizza took around 6 to 7 minutes to bake, and it should have a nice golden crust and be crispy to the touch. I love this recipe for pizza parties. Make and portion out the dough with an assortment of toppings and let people make their own. Bellissimo!